Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm getting my light set up here. Hope everybody's doing good. I'm plugging in my light, getting started, and there we go. We're here. So I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare live chat. We do this every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we talk all things homesteading related. You might notice I'm a little bit right. When I went to my parents, I had some of that nasal draining junk from the heater being on. So I'm recovering from that. Anyway, a couple minutes, I'll have to go get some tea because the water's heating up. But you are in the right place. Welcome, welcome. And I hope everybody's doing well. So if you're new here, go ahead and, well, even if you're not new here, let us know who you are, where you are, what you're growing, what you're wanting to grow. And we'll go from there. I hope everybody caught the I hope everybody caught the the live yesterday. Was it yesterday? Today's been so long. Because I was on the Urban Gardeners channel yesterday. And so that was a good time, and it was on there with another gardener. So we had a good discussion, and I'm looking for the link in case you're wondering what the heck I'm doing. Okay. Let's see. I think it's this. Let me see. Yes, it is. Okay. Found it. So here is thank you, Verna. Here's the link for Sunday's round table. There you go. Let me go get my tea. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Lemon and honey tea. So, anyway, that was a lot of fun, and a lot of talking about gardening. We went a whole bunch of different places with gardening, so there you go. I'm going to scroll up to the top here, see what you guys are saying, and we'll start the discussion. I did get a question. I'll do it right now and then later in case this person shows up in comments. But I had a question about my freezer, my over freezer table that I made quite a while back. And so we made that to go over the freezer because you're not supposed to put things on the freezer. And I have a chest freezer. And she was asking how the legs held up. I did do an update, but it's buried somewhere in a weekend review. So I brought a leg because the table's not actually put back together. So something just fell. So I did this is the leg of the table, and we added this. There's a dowel inside to add height, and then on the end here is a little rolly caster. This worked for a very long time, and then because we move it back and forth a lot of times, this actually started separating on one of the legs. So what we did is bought this, and it's an angled, I don't know what it's called. It's an angled piece of metal and bolted on or screwed on both sides with some washers. And this, since we put this on here, has worked really, really great. And when you're looking at it from the front, you can't even see it. That's on the back. So anyway, if she comes on again, remind me I have a leg here. There, hopefully that'll stay. Angle iron, is that what it's called? I don't know. All right, I'm zooming up to the top here. Oh, Guido's Family Farm, first one here tonight. Hey everyone, hello. Is this Christina or Aaron or both? Good job on the live. Yeah, doing lives is definitely not what you're used to if you're used to just commenting. Keep doing answers and keeping track of the chat is different for sure. But welcome, and good job. If you don't already know Guido's Family Farm, they just hit over 500 subscribers, so they can do lives now. I think they're doing Saturdays. So really focused on quail, but they do all sorts of other things too. Verna is Bay's place, and she's in blue with a little red because she's my moderator, keeping the bad guys away. And if you are interested in growing things in a small area, such as an apartment, check out her channel because that's what she does. Okay, Verna says cold outside, a balmy 25 degrees. It was 26 this morning, and yeah, it was a little colder. I had to break the water for the rabbits, and so they had some frozen water. Sorry, I am going to actually put a Ricola in my mouth, and I know you're not supposed to talk while you're eating, but come on, guys. We know each other, right? All right. Just cool here, says Gigo's. Maybe I won't. It's a little hard to understand, huh? So they are in Louisiana. That doesn't get as cold. Trade you? Yeah, Verna's agreeing. I can't do this. You guys can't understand me. Okay, Verna's agreeing that Aaron had a good first live. I agree. Dawn's here. Welcome, Dawn. Welcome. Staying warm. Yeah, so we I went to my parents' well, let's see. I left here on Wednesday and I came back yesterday. So I was at my parents' there and it was cold there. Like it was in the 20s at night, but still went outside like this. It's there's more moisture here, so it feels colder here than it does in the high desert. But yeah, they're doing good and all that. So yeah. All right. Oh, Dawn wants to know if ground hornets hibernate in the winter. I know they don't come out after dark. I have a 4-year-old overgrown garden I'm trying to clear, but fake knees, no running. Oh, yeah. It depends on what the temperature is and where you are. So if it's winter, it's winter. I don't think they can fly when it's cold. It's the same way bees can't really fly when it's cold. So how cold is it? Yeah. Yeah. So Aaron's saying they should be pretty dormant below 40 degrees. Yep. Um, all right. It's 20 going down to 18 later tonight, Don says. Man. Yeah, there we go. All right. You guys got the blinks down, huh? Talking when she starts like she talks way before it starts with us? Oh, is there a delay? Interesting. Okay. I didn't know there was a delay. Sorry. You guys, it's the same thing every time. It's saying hi and who I am. All right. Oh. Yeah, ground hornets, they do make tunnels through the yard or do they have multiple nests? I don't know. I know they make like attractants to attract them, but that's not going to work in the winter. They have to fly to it. They also make like sprays, but that put poison in your area. So yeah. Yeah. PJ's here. Welcome, PJ. PJ had fun with the Katrina's kits after I was there. She couldn't make it because of the power outages, but I saw all your comments. I haven't responded to all of them. Maybe I did. I don't remember if I did or not. But if you guys want to sign up for Katrina's kits, it is a hilarious time sometimes. Sometimes it's not hilarious, but we have a lot of fun. It is a monthly Cook With Me Live. I cook in my kitchen, you cook in your kitchen, and um, guys, it's super cheap. It is a member, like if you join the membership, and yeah, it's super cheap. I want to have a lot of people do it, and there's the join. All right. Dawn says I had snow showers, 2 inches yesterday and 1 inch this morning of real pretty fluffy flakes. Hey. All right. Ed's here. Welcome, Ed. I hope you are doing well, and I hope Wendy is doing well, and everybody is doing better. Hopefully Wendy's recovery is going good. Yeah, so Aaron's responding to Dawn's question, and Hymenoptera is the bees and wasps family. And he's saying, and Vespids is hornets, have a metabolism like reptiles and pretty much slow during the winter. So while the ground is still cold, is the best time to exterminate. So she's asking how though. So is there something that you can put down into the holes? I think is the question. I don't know the answer to that. I know that there's I know of sprays and I know of above ground traps. I've only had to deal with really yellow jackets once. Yeah. Steve's here. Welcome. Or he's cheer. Hi, Steve. Welcome. I did not get a post office box yet. I did have a conversation with Harvest Right, and we're going to get that figured out, though. So there you go. There's one thing. I'll call the post office tomorrow. How about that? That'll be my assignment. All right. Okay, Dawn, a dish soap. Dawn, you're saying Dawn a dish soap. Dawn is a dish soap, but our Dawn is not a dish soap. Dish soap and water mixture poured down the whole work. Yeah, okay. So dish soap, that will basically, hornets and wasps, they have these things in their abdomens called spiracles, and that's basically how they breathe. They bring in, that's where the oxygen and all that stuff happens. So if it gets plugged up with soap, then that they can't breathe. So the same thing, like if you're pulling bugs off of plants in the garden and you put it in soapy water, that's the how of why they don't go. Why don't they don't leave that soapy water? Yeah. I have a leg. It's probably not as expensive as yours though, Don. I guess it's me, huh? Okay, wood box. Um, Steve's my to-do list. Okay. This Saturday I'm going to town to pick out carpet and hopefully order some carpet because that needs to happen. And then Sunday I plan on cutting wood. Now the wood box itself probably won't load it right away because the house leveling, not leveling as in falling down, but leveling as in leveling. I've been calling it foundation, but they're not actually working on the foundation. But that's going to be starting mid-month, and the access is underneath the wood box, so it'll be fine. But yes, I have a plan. Have a plan. So I mean, I have some wood. All right. Dawn has a hole they can pour down. All right. Adam's here. Welcome, Adam. Hello, he says. I'm coming over from the Urban Gardener. Awesome. I remember seeing you there. That's awesome. PJ says it is 17 now. Oh man. Man. All right, so we need to, since PJ's on here, I don't know if any other members are on here yet. We need to pick a date, PJ. Let's pick a date for we're making marshmallows. So I do a monthly Cook With Me live. And this time we're taking it easy, but we're doing something fun that can be gifts for Christmas. We're making marshmallows. I don't yet have a recipe. If there's a couple recipes we want to try, we can try and see which one works best. Yeah, but PJ, if there's a day that doesn't work, let me know. Sundays work better for me than Saturdays, and hopefully by the end of this live, hopefully we'll have something figured on a calendar. Hopefully other people. Oh yeah, Gidros is you guys are members. Aaron and Christina are members too. All right, let me know what Sunday might not work, or if a particular one does work. We can do Saturday too. Sundays just work better. All right, Dawn is also chilly. Thank you, Verna, for putting Gidros's link there. All right. Ed says, save some money and pick up a bed frame someone's giving away in the trash. Oh, free. Okay, we're getting topics thrown around. This is how it works. So I showed this table leg. I don't randomly carry around table legs. I had a point. Watch earlier. So this piece right here is often on trash, basically. That you can use. You can get from like parts of things. That is true. We just had. It was cheap enough to buy a piece. I don't know if it is now. I mean, it might not be now. Hardware stuff is, or that's not hardware. Metal stuff is not as cheap as it used to be. But it was cheap enough because we just needed one piece and then we cut it into several pieces and used it like that. But good tip. Yeah. All right. Verna's 25, wind chill 17. All right. I don't know what it is right now. It is 34. 34. I know my thermocubes work. So thermocube is it's like that big and it has two plugs on it and it plugs into an outlet. And what it does is when that cube hits 35 degrees, it turns those outlets on. So my well house has one because I have a heat lamp in there, and then I have the chickens have a heated waterer that I plugged into that as well because they don't need their water to be heated all the time. And that I actually put my finger in it this morning, and it was warmer than it usually would have been. It's not hot. It doesn't. It's not like they're having tea, but yeah. But it's pretty good. They both work, so that is a good sign there. And so I think it's a good thing to have. And I have some extras too, so that's good. So if you are wondering what to do and you have access to electricity, a thermocube is a good idea. And you can even plug in a thermocube like at the house and then plug a extension cord in from there too. So it's an option. All right. Peter says, yes, we have fun cooking with Katrina. It is good. As long as you have power. I know you're getting hit again, aren't you? I think we're supposed to have our next system come through, I think, next weekend. Yeah. So hopefully you're prepared. Oh, yeah. Oh, Dawn's gonna be knitting, huh? Got a ton of yarn on Black Friday. Black Friday is good. Well, now it is. I accidentally went out on Black Friday when it used to not be on the internet. I just was looking for a watch band for my Casio digital watch. I got to Target. I'm like, what the heck are all these people here? Realized what day it is. Went home. Yeah. But speaking of Black Friday, I did order some wildlife cameras. So that we can check off the list. Hopefully they're good. I did get some that were on like super special. So I kind of researched them a little bit on other people's YouTube videos first. But that is something that I got done. And then I just got in the mail today the cards. And as I talked about on the video from today, 32 is what all the ones that I've worked with and I've seen, 32 gigabytes is what the card is you want. If you put in something bigger than that, it won't work. So I got some of these. And then batteries. And they should be lithium. Make sure they sent me the right one. Did they send me the right one? Ultimate lithium. Lithium works better for these than alkaline. So you can do rechargeable, but these will last a year in the cameras. So yeah. All right. Oh, Verna says my scarf for my daughter is almost done. Then I have to make her fingerless gloves. All right. And Dawn's back to the ground hornets. Yeah. Entrance hole and exit. Wish I could get out and dig and see how deep they are. Now I see this with ants, and I haven't seen it with hornets. That they do like a molten metal and pour it down the ant hole and then dig it out once it's cooled. But I don't see you doing that in your yard. Might be interesting. All right. All right. Have not called the water master yet. I will call them. Thank you for being on top of it. You're like my to-do list. Uh-oh. Versa, I would rather crochet. Knitting takes too long. I have only crocheted and I've only ever crocheted one long thing. Yeah. All right. Okay. So Steve is saying ground hornets can be up to 1.5 feet deep below ground. I think they can be deeper than that. They can also create a horizontal tunnel that's about 6 inches long. I think they can be much bigger than that. And then it also depends on if they go into a gopher burrow or a ground squirrel burrow, because they can actually use those burrows. And those burrows can be like 10 feet long. So if they're doing it themselves, that might be true. But if they're using a burrow that's already there, then it can be bigger. Yeah. Perethrin? Is that how you spell that? Was suggested to me by a natural pest company for ground nested wasps, Adam says. Is it permethrin or is it permethrin is the one that comes to my head because it's like the thing that people use, but I wouldn't expect natural one. I don't know what that one is. Pyrethrin. Okay. Look it up. Don says, "Oh, your knees. I was told they're 30,000 each. From the sham surgeon I fired. No, I didn't tell you how much these two cost from a good surgeon. Well, there you go. There you go. PJ, what's your new job? Did you move? Are you moving yet? I want to know. Tell us more." Okay. And not work from home, but able to transfer to South Carolina when I can. Awesome. Did your house sell yet? Hopefully it sells in a good timing for you. All right. 340 Quail. Tim? Is that your name? 340 Quail. Welcome. Hey, Katrina, everyone. I'm late to the party. That is okay. That is okay. You may have to rewind if you want to know why I have a table leg. I'm not going to tell you. Well, we'll tell you if the person who I commented back to shows up in comments. Welcome, though. All right. Vernon says one of the people at the farmers markets used to make boozy marshmallows. That is not something I will be making. Yeah, sorry, I'm not an alcohol person, so that's not happening. You good any Sunday? Okay. What about Gidros? Are you gonna come live or are you gonna watch the replay? All right. It covers a lot of insects you don't want, Adam says. Okay. All right. It is Tim. I was right. Okay. You need to start a list for quiller names. Don't you have a list? I thought you were keeping a list. Or you had one at one point. And Don says to Adam, you're right. I know they have used it for dog dips and on cattle for fleas for years. For us, we could dip our clothes and they'll repel ticks for 30 days. Oh my gosh, that's scary. That's just scary. Oh yeah, if you don't wash them, yeah. Hopefully you're not wearing the same clothes for 30 days, not washing them. All right. Oh, you're supposed to be able to wash and dry them for a month? That is a little scary. That is still effective. Yeah. All right. While we're talking about the 20s and then 17 degrees, 340 quail farm is growing bananas in Florida. My bananas are bearing, but not ripe as yet. Maybe 2 more weeks. We're expecting a frost and 30s tonight, tomorrow morning. Any tips? Yes. What is 30s? Is it low 30s or high 30s? Um, if you have Christmas lights that are not LED, I would wrap them. And I don't know. Here's where my ignorance is with bananas. So when not the beginning, the end. When a banana fruits, it sends up a pup. It does its flowering. It does its fruiting. It's hanging there, and they get cut green. I don't know how green they get cut. So, I mean, you might not have time to really talk to someone in your area, given it's tonight. But if it is early and you can cut it early, I would cut it. But I'm not the person to give you that information. But I do know that they can cut them green, because once that pup has fruit, then that pup doesn't have fruit anymore, is my understanding. Um, I would, I would put non-LED Christmas lights. So the Christmas lights that actually have a little bit of heat to them. It doesn't need a lot. If you wrap, uh, like the little twinkle lights that are not LED, if you wrap them around that, that should be enough if it's in the 30s. Because what happens is those light bulbs, little tiny ones, you can use big ones too. They're just more expensive on your electricity bill. They give off just enough heat to keep the air moving around the bulb. And if you keep the air moving around the bulb and you have several bulbs on there, then what you're doing is you are creating an environment where frost doesn't land. And if the frost can't land on it, it's going to have a hard time affecting the plant. So I would do that if you have them. And if you haven't already, I would heavily mulch the base, the bottom. I know they're heavy feeders anyway, and you might as well mulch it. If you don't have that, throwing a sheet over it will work just fine. I don't know how big your banana trees are. Banana plants are, they're not real trees. If it's a smaller tree, a sheet will work. If it's a larger tree, I mean, it's already nighttime where all of us are. It's already nighttime, so I don't know if you want to be up on a ladder in the night, but that is my recommendation. Anybody else who knows bananas and wants to give Tim a tip, let Tim know. All right. PJ says, I'm excited to see what you find on the cameras. Absolutely. I love camera trapping, and I've been doing it for, well, I did it. I was introduced to it when I was doing my undergraduate research at Heart Mountain National Antelope Refuge in southeastern Oregon. And that was with film. So that was with a film camera with a real flash. That was before the infrared flash was like a thing for automatic. It had a sensor. Basically, you put a camera in a box, and there is a motion activated thing that actually presses the button on the camera. And the biologist that had this project going was for pygmy rabbits and little tiny rabbits. Adults are like this big, little head. And they actually have they set them up so low because pygmy rabbits is one of two. You guys are going to learn all sorts of stuff on this channel. Pygmy rabbits are one of two North American rabbit species that actually dig their own burrows. The other one lives in Mexico. It's called the volcano rabbit. I had to look it up because that sentence was in so many articles and it didn't tell what it was. But the pygmy rabbit lives in burrows, so it lives in the ground and it's only this tall. So the cameras are literally like set on the ground. And she was trying to get pictures of like if they're active in that burrow currently or not. And then she was doing some habitat stuff. But we had one, and these are the days that you don't just take a picture and look at it and decide if you want or not. You took pictures, you waited until the whole roll of film ran out, you took it over to the store, which in this case was, an hour and a half away from the refuge to get it developed. You wait, I don't know, a week to get it developed, drive back, get it, sit on the couch with your buddies and go through pictures. Well, there was some pretty cool pictures. The bobcat had stepped over it, so we got a bobcat armpit. There was some other stuff on there, but at some point early on in the roll of film, in the pictures, this streak started going. It's going this way, and then a streak going this way. Couldn't figure out what it was. Finally, we saw a clear enough picture. I told you guys it didn't have an infrared flash. It has a real, like a flash, like a camera flash like you would see. There was a weasel jumping over the camera to make the flash go. I don't know how many times it jumped over after the roll of film was gone, but it enjoyed the camera and completely was useless to her. Because all it was is the belly of a weasel. So anyway, so that, and then I have I've used them in my work for targeting for like kit foxes and badger and general wildlife. I've done a lot of that, and so there's some tricks to use as well. And you know what? I forgot to see if this one is a heat sensitive one too or not, because usually it is, but I don't know because they're so cheap. But if you have a motion sensor and a temperature sensor, usually what that means is if something warm walks in front of the camera, it triggers it. Now you're probably going to have it triggered anyway with a movement, but if you face it the wrong way, you can get shadows, which can trigger it because it's a difference in temperature on the camera or on in that area. You can kind of cheat the system if you are doing herpetological surveys, so like amphibians, reptiles. If there's a reptile, or mostly frogs and stuff. So if there's an amphibian that you're looking for, and your camera can, like, here's the lens. If your camera can take pictures like this, not all of them can on the wildlife cameras. If it can take pictures like that, you can set it like that and set a tile on, below it, So that tile warms up, and it warms up to a consistent temperature. And when something slow moving that is cooler comes into the frame, it will take a picture of it, even though it was slow moving, because of the temperature difference. So there's some really cool tricks, and I'm gonna do some videos once I get those and get them set up. But I am excited to see that. It's awesome. Um, yeah. And Dawn says I did pick up a couple of cameras and one 258 gigabyte SD card. I think it was on Black Friday to add to where I want them. Awesome. Awesome. Well, hopefully your cameras accept that large an SD card, because the ones I've worked with have been limited to 32. So yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, Verna's suggestion for bananas is covered with frost protective netting. And I guess I was assuming that he would have already done that if he had it. And he's in Florida where they don't really get much of a frost. So yeah, he's in Florida, PJ. And so that kind of becomes more difficult because you're in general not prepared for it. Yeah. Take your best sheets out there. um, Adam says, I try my hardest not to go to town a week before Thanksgiving until after the first of the year. Too much of a headache. I'm from rural Central Point, Oregon. You are really close to me, Adam. I'm in southern Douglas County. Yeah, you're really close to me. I think. Where is Central Point? I think it's just north of me, not too far. Okay. I'm just going to look because I'm curious. Let's see. Yeah, you're not that far. I mean, it's still far, but it's not tremendously far. All right. BJ agrees. Yep. A sheet will work for tonight. Absolutely. Absolutely, Tim. Dawn says knitting is no longer than crocheting. You're talking about time wise? Is the size of your yarn and project you are making. Okay. No different time. Got it. Right. Yeah, a sheet will work just fine. Yep. And PJ says, I will be a traveling enrollment agent. No house didn't sell. I suspect I'm stuck here until spring thaw. Well, I mean, people aren't generally looking for houses without power. It looks a little nicer, maybe, for people um, in the spring with all the stuff. So um, it's all right. You've been there that long. You can be there a little longer. Hopefully you get a good price for it and are able to move to a good place. Yeah. Okay, Adam has an answer. Pyrethrin is derived from a flower of the chrysanthemum species. Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Dawn, that's what I was thinking too. Um, yes, so that's what I was thinking. I was thinking he was saying he was. I was thinking he was like misremembering or misspelling permethrin. That's why I was asking if it was the same or not. And it's not. So that's good. I can look it up. Pyre thin. Pyre thin. Naturally occurring insecticide derived from chrysanthemum flowers that is used to control pests in homes and gardens. Okay, I'll read more about that later. Thank you, Adam, for letting us know. Yeah, yeah, camera trapping is a lot of fun, Verna. You're a bit more north than I am, Adam. If that's where you are. Yes, PJ, you have power now. I know, but you have another storm coming, don't you? Or did you get through that storm? Hopefully, hopefully you have more power. Ah. All right. Well, we're kind of already talking about part of the topic of the day. So the topic of the day was going to be how to deal with freezing. And I already shared with you that I use a thermocube, and this is the first time I've had them for a long time. I actually bought them when I was in California for my citrus trees. I never used them. I just figured I'd leave the lights. I put on the timer instead of that. I didn't want to trust it, but because really there wasn't many times when it went to freezing. So I really had a hard time, like, how do I test to see if this works? I've now tested these. I mean, I didn't test it. It got cold and it happened. But I now tested these and they are really, really good. They work. I have spares. So yeah, thermocubes is what I'm doing. And then I have my rubber bowls for the rabbits, and that's working. And yes, they did freeze on the top, but there's enough right now. There's enough thermo um, mass inside of that rubber tubs. I have one right here. I'll show you guys. And again, I got spares. So I have these. It's just a rubber bowl. So far, it's just iced on the top, and I can get my hand in there and pull stuff out. The person who watched the rabbits, I know he did that too because it looks like a slushy in there. But like today, it either warmed up enough to melt or they sought the chunks out to eat. I don't know. But these rubber bowls are working. There's enough thermal mass there. It's going to be a little interesting once the kits arrive. Because I'm not sure. I'm hoping they don't fall in. Anyway, so that'll be a first time for me this winter is dealing with frozen water. The chickens have their water on the thermocube. It's heated. The cats I actually didn't change out because I just had again that thermal mass. It's thing you turn upside down and it works. But I did buy a heated dog bowl for them if I need it, if it gets, cold. So, anyway, so we talked about Tim and his bananas. What else are you guys doing? Uh, my dad gave me I guess it is a cold frame. It's a plastic cold frame that he used 1 year. And I did buy some end of the season herbs that I haven't put in the ground yet. And so I think I'm gonna kind of bunch them together, put them in the ground, uh, just as a kind of grow here, I'm gonna move you later thing, and I'll put that over top of them for the season, and hope the deer and elk don't step on it and kick it, but we'll see. So, what are you guys doing for your animals? What are you guys doing for your garden? What do you have to protect? When I was in California, it got down to 22 degrees in Gilroy when I was there. I was there for 11 years. It only ever, like, that was the coldest it ever got. Um, but I did put lights, those little twinkle lights, the non-LED twinkle lights, uh, on my citrus, my avocado, and my dragon fruits. And the dragon fruits still singed at the edges because I couldn't put it on like all the little pieces, but um, those you probably want to cover in the winter when it's going to freeze with some creative thing because they have little thorns on them. But the fruit trees were completely fine. So excuse me. Sorry. All right. And Vern is cooking dinner. Not enough for all of us, though, huh? Oh, PJ lost power on Thanksgiving. Oh, hopefully you're still able to like cook and stuff. We know you had pie and have pie to eat. Don says, I'm trying to learn a way I can physically plant in my garden this year after he let it get 4 years of weeds 12 foot tall. I looked at no dig method. It takes 9 months, too long. Um, I would, and I think this is what Aaron has suggested on his live. I haven't finished watching it. Um, I would see if there's any goats in your area and just let them come in to town. Either goats or chickens will scratch it up, but I don't know if they'll scratch it up that much for that much mass. But you may, see if anybody has a horse or any of those animals that are going to eat vegetation. Um, then that's a good idea. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do first. And then other than that, if he you don't do it, if he can like weed whack down what he can get down, that will be helpful. But yeah, yeah. PJ says rubber bowls fresh water daily because it probably goes into the water, doesn't it? I didn't even think about that, PJ. I've been doing every couple, so that is good to have a good reminder. Thank you. Dawn says, I'm thinking the only way I can plant is to clear little spaces at a time or go full-blown raised bed. Dawn, I know you have better knees now, but raised beds might be good anyway. You're still going to have to clear those areas. It sounds like if they're 12 feet tall. But raised beds might be the way to go anyway, because it's higher up and you don't have to be down on the ground and stuff. Might be good. PJ didn't cook. Cold turkey for everyone, huh? Good evening, Food Forest Permaculture. Good evening, Howie. Welcome. We're talking winter resilience and what you do. So I know you are, I want to say you're in Canada or Washington or something, right? What do you do for your winter time? Are the things you have to protect? Because this is we froze before, but this has been our first real like the water froze, and the bunnies. Yeah. Don says it's a good idea, but since animals are against their law, I'd be pushing buttons. I'll have to weed whack down. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Can you rent a petting zoo? Can you rent a petting zoo? Because a petting zoo is mostly things that eat plants. Think of how to get around things. That might be a creative solution for you. Howie says ruminants are great for cleaning brush. Yep. Fish and potatoes at Verna's place. All right. Dawn says, I wonder how high to make the raised beds. I see 4 foot tall tomatoes being 6 feet tall to pick. Yeah. I would say there are different ways you can do that and direct the growth. So at my old place, I had raised beds they were actually, so I had, I jackhammered out the park strip. Park strip was about that thick, like 5 inches maybe. And I had 3 layers of that urbanite on it. And as a wall basically, and then I had that filled. And what I did is I had wood chip pathways So the raised beds only looked like they were about that tall, but they were really, that tall because the wood chip pathway was so much taller. So there's ways of getting around that. Um, I don't know what your access is to wood chips, but there's ways of getting around it. If you want to, yeah. Okay, so Food Forest is in Vancouver Island. Citrus and bananas are brought inside. That's good. That's good. Dawn says, I think a petting zoo would work because I'm 99% sure it's not on their ordinance. Dawn, I'm telling you, you gotta be creative up here. And how hilarious would that be? You're like, can I have 2 days of petting zoo? But let's make a deal. I'll feed them if they're free. See if that works. I don't know if that might take it too far. I might be sneezing soon. All right. Adam says cardboard and thick mulch this time of year works magic on weeds unless it's persistent like Bermuda grass. Oh no, you have Bermuda grass. Yep, that's good. Good thing. Don says, "Oh, your wood chip pathway, cool. I have a friend with a lumber mill and can get all the sawdust I want. Solving problems over here, Don." Yeah, you can do a raised bed, um, and not have it raised, if that makes sense. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and look at some of my older videos at my old property. Um, I know you do, but for anybody on the rewatching, yeah. PJ said I had nobody to cook for Thanksgiving, so no power. I went to a restaurant with my nephew. Hey, that works. Thank you for your blessings. I have been blessed. All right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Howie takes in his stuff. Oh, the other thing I do is I have a green stalk that I have peppers in, and I think this is their third winter. I think, or is this the fourth winter? You guys probably know more than me. It's probably the third winter. Um, but there's peppers that can be grown in green stalks. If you don't know what a green stalk is, it is a vertical gardening system that actually has water um, delivery system included in it, and it's really awesome. And it turns if you get the turn base, and it's really awesome. But I bring that inside in the winter for the peppers because if you start a seed when you're supposed to start them 6 to 8 weeks before before your last frost, you're gonna have a plant this big. Whereas if I bring them inside, they have fruit on them right now. I mean, peppers were done a long time ago, but I have fruit on them right now. They're in the other room. And I can harvest them. Peppers stay on the plant for a very long time, and I can harvest them as I need them throughout the winter. And then it'll even flower as well. And in the spring, when you put them out, you can put them out with flowers on them even. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So that's another thing you can do is just bring stuff inside. And I guess this might only apply to, well, it applies to Guidros and 340 Quail Farm because you guys haven't frozen yet, I don't think. But bring your peppers inside, and even if it's not in a container, if you want that pepper to live through the winter, just dig it up, cut it back, and bring it inside. Put it in something. Put it in something with soil, or potting soil. Put it inside, and you can keep it there. You can water it a few times. In the wintertime, they don't need as much water. But you want to water it some to keep the soil alive. Yeah, that's another thing. There we go. Thank you, Berta. Yeah, so I actually have a link in the description of all my videos that has the $10 off your first purchase. So if you want $10 off your first purchase of green stock, then that is in the description of all my videos. And I have videos on that specifically, which is pretty cool. All right. Nobody's gonna tell us what they do for their animals or plants in the cold. This is your chance to tell us something amazing. I mean, you always have that chance. Every time, right? All right. So, um, something else I'm planning to do um, is to actually plant garbanzo beans. I know I'm too late. I want to see what happens. We have another storm coming in this weekend, but I just want to see what happens because I have a bunch of garbanzo beans. So you guys know I do Azure Standard, and I don't go I don't order stuff every month. I mean, I order stuff when I need it, but I mostly do the bulk stuff. And I got a big 50-pound bag of garbanzo beans, and when I moved, the green stalks in the truck fell over, dumped a bunch of dirt, soil, and that bag was apparently open. I didn't realize, and that fell over, dumped a whole bunch of stuff. So those got swept up together, and they're literally in a box in the carport. So I'm going to be putting those out in the garden, and I'm thinking I'll just spread them out in the garden, and then maybe put some rabbit manure on top of that, and that should be watered in and do well. So that's what I'm gonna do. And there's one of three things will happen. So it will uh, sprout and start to grow, and then freeze and die. It will sprout and start to grow and be successful and grow in fruit, or it will stay dormant until it's actually time for it to come up. Um, and do that. So in this case, I won't be pre-soaking. So usually when you plant um, chickpeas or garbanzo beans, they're the same thing. You soak them like 24 hours before you soak them, and then plant them. In fact, the first time I planted garbanzo beans was from a package of garbanzo beans, like for hummus or for soup or whatever. And that's what I did is I soaked too many, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna shove these in the ground. And I did. I shoved them mostly into the wood chips, and most of them grew. So that's really interesting. And I want to try and repeat the process here. I should have done it sooner in the season, but or maybe later in the season. Who knows? All right. Oh, Adam's giving a warning. Watch out for green stalks. If you don't have one, they are very addictive. They are awesome. They are awesome. Even the deer like them. I have some parsley that volunteered into the green stalks, and there's some in the one that has the peppers, but there's also some in the one outside. I have four of them. Only one of them has real stuff in it right now, but there's some parsley out there that the deer heavily browsed, and it's coming back with a boom. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Dawn grows inside year round with hydroponics. No limitations there. Yep. So PJ says extra hay and shavings for animals as well as deep litter method. Yep. I did close. There's a little window right by where the chickens roost, and it has like chicken wire in it, but it has a wood thing that closes. I did kind of close that today. It doesn't actually close all the way, so hopefully it'll stay up. Honestly, they can roost on the bar below that if they want to. They're not roosting right next to it. I'm like, girls, come on. Yeah. Anyway, but extra hay and shavings for animals is good. Deep litter method is good for keeping warmth, for keeping warmth, for keeping clean, and for composting. So that is all good. Then I did just add a bunch of shavings to the coop. One of the improvements I'm going to do at some point, um, I just added this time because what's there right now underneath that is from the chickens that were here before. There was one chicken that made it to 15 years old. She died like a month before I moved here, so I actually don't know if she was part of the deal or not, but um So she died about a month before I got here. There wasn't any issues. She was 15 years old. So I did not, pre-treat the coop or anything before I had them in there. And yes, there's mouse poop in there. And so I don't want to clean that out until my girls can go outside and stay outside for a while. And I can go in there with a mask and all that stuff. So that's going to happen after winter. And I'm just going to add to it because I don't want to churn up. I don't know if hantavirus is in the area or not, but there's other things that you can get from rodents, and I'd rather it stay where it is right now instead of get airborne. So when I do that, I am going to put linoleum underneath that. That's something I did in their other coop, which of course their other coop, I have three, right? Their other coop, their old coop was just literally a bottom of a pallet that had the wood on top, a solid piece. It was a pallet that I extended out for the nest boxes and shoved legs under and built up above and used my leftover. I had a fence that I had rebuilt, so I used those fence boards, and that was what I used, and they loved it. I don't know if they loved it, but they used it. Uh, and we put linoleum on the bottom, linoleum vinyl, whatever it is, the rolled up stuff. Put that on the bottom with some glue, and that makes it super, super easy to clean, to sweep out, shovel out, and it also makes it protects the wood better underneath there. So I am planning on doing that in the spring and going from there. Yeah. Um, Don says that sounds good too. I'm dreaming about finding a farmer with enough stuff to fill raised beds nearby. Don, call a petting zoo. They have animals. They have straw. They have all sorts of stuff. They have poop. And I would love it if they actually did that and gave you a whole bunch of stuff on top of it. Because, I mean, I don't know. Is there a petting zoo near you? Try it. I want to know the answer to this question, Don. Going to PT. All right. Thank you, Dawn. Have a good night. Greenstock has 25% off now. Yeah, they have 25% off now. They'll do another sale. I don't know if they do Christmas sale, probably. Their biggest sale, like the most money off sale, I think is Mother's Day, or for Mother's Day. And so, depending on when you're going to be ready for it, now versus later, and all of that. So, yeah, but I do have a link in the description that will help you out with that. Yeah, and Verna grew sweet potatoes in it, and that's a pretty cool thing because sweet potatoes take up a lot of room. For those that don't know, Greenstock makes two different size. They call them pockets, but basically there's the regular one. I think it's called original, and it's like that deep. And really, anything you plant in your garden that's annual, you can plant in that. Um, and then they have a leaf version, which is smaller, and that's for things like lettuce. You could do strawberries in either one. Strawberries, maybe radishes. Things that have shorter roots, uh, and they're great. You can fit depending on which one you get. So the deeper one has 30 plants in it, and the shallower one has 36 plants. So I say you can grow 36 plants in a space you could hug, which is pretty cool. Um, yeah. The one thing you have to do that you can't do, the one thing you have to do that you don't have to do in the ground as much is to fertilize, because that water is going all the way through. It is leaching faster. So that's the one thing to consider. But other than that, it's good. So Adam, what are you growing right now? Are you growing anything in yours? Did you bring them inside, or you have hardy stuff outside? But I was thinking about putting some of the herbs in a green stock, but then I was like, but then I have to protect it from the elk. I didn't want to. But I think my plan of having a temporary setting there is a good idea. All right. Buster's here. Hey to all. Welcome, Buster. All right. Herbs. Herbs, they grow well. Herbs. Yep. PJ has strawberries in her green stock. I used to, and then the deer ate them when I moved here. It's okay. I'll get it restarted. Um, you don't have a Wyandotte in your green stock. Adam says I have a Wyandotte hen that's 14 years old. She's the matriarch of my flock. Pun intended. She's a tough old bird. Wow. Yeah, I had never heard of a chicken living 15 years here. So yeah, that's an old bird. Does she still lay every once in a while? And my girls, they're gonna be 4 on St. Patrick's Day. It's easy birthday to remember. Easy hatch day to remember. They're gonna be 4 on St. Patrick's Day. And they don't lay quite as well as they used to. But they still lay good. Rexy is still taking it through the winter. She's my super well, she's my super chicken. Um, she's not laying every day, but she's definitely um in the mode. She likes her scratchies. Let's just say that. Yeah. Um, yeah. Now you could grow a lot of things in green stalks, and you could even bring them inside if you're growing them. And like I have for the peppers, it's really good. Um, Now I can do. I have strawberries in the ground here. I don't know what kind they are. They were here when I came here, and they have a fun little. I think I have a video on it. They have a fun little cover, a wire cover that you prop up to harvest them because otherwise everything will eat them. Yeah. Yep. So I thought it was pretty funny this morning. The chickens were. I could see them through the window that was open. Um, they were right next to the window, all huddled together, and I'm like, girls, you could go down to a different rung. It'll be warmer. But I think they just like they're creatures of habit. They like where they are. Yeah. Oh no. PJ says when the power went out for 3 days, my quail stopped laying. So waiting for eggs again. PJ, do you water glass? Water glassing eggs is something I haven't done yet. I haven't had need to. This year, my egg situation is different than it has been in a very long time because I don't have the quail. I'll have quail again, but I don't have them right now. Um, because what I used to do is the quail would take me through winter because I would have light on them all the time. I use a rope light. And present? Okay. Um, and the chickens have never had winter light until this year. So I just let them take a break. Rexy usually only had like a month off. Just she's a good layer. She's the smallest of them, but she's a good layer. Um, but this is their first winter with light on, and I just started giving them. Actually, before I left, I'm gonna make it a more of a regular thing. I just started giving them crushed pepper flakes, and so that's supposed to help them, and it's supposed to help keep it warmer too. But it's supposed to help them um, kind of keep and lay. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Adam says I had a lot of bush beans and my basil. I had one almost all basil, uh, different kinds, in my 2 green stalks. I had going this year. Next year, I'm adding 2 more, and I'm adding strawberries and peppers to the mix. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, strawberries and peppers do really well. Um, yeah. One thing that I thought would be cool was nasturtiums, and I never did it. But here, I kind of want to do nasturtiums just kind of in the woods. I don't know if that's bad or not. Introducing a species, but nasturtiums are wonderful too. All right, PJ says, I do water glass. Well, did, but I stopped because my quail didn't stop laying before. There was no need, is what you're saying. Yeah. I freeze, so I prepared to move. I knew I was wanting to move, and then when the move was actually happening, I had time to kind of get my mind around preservation before I moved. And so I did freeze dry, I freeze dried a bunch of chicken eggs and I freeze dried a bunch of quail eggs. But when you freeze dry eggs, you have to scramble them first. So, like the recipe that we did bear claws. Somebody commented, I don't know if the person is watching on the replay. I don't see that person in the comments. But if you're the person that asked about recipe um, for the bear claws that I made. Um, that is something we did. The That's something we did on the Katrina's Kits Cook With Me Live. That's a membership. So there should be a join button down below. Um, if you're watching on the computer, I don't know what it looks like on the phone, but there's a join button. If not, then you can go to this link that I'm putting in here. Um, there's three different levels. It's you get right now you get the same thing. It's just how you want to monetarily support me. Either it's there's three different amounts. If you do the lowest amount is very cheap, but you can watch replays. So if you would like to watch a replay, and we did bear claws, and who knows, we'll probably do it again at some point. Um, just like I think we did pumpkin pie last year, and we did it again this year. But it's something that's really really cool, and we actually talk with each other like face to face on video, and it's really a lot of fun. So, but my point is, if you join, you also have access to all the previous Cook With Me lives. It's not live, obviously, but the replays. And so you have access to all of those recipes, all of those fun times, and all of that. So um, that's what I recommend for anyone who's wanting to do the bear claws, which turned out fantastic. And PJ will laugh. I made this at my parents'. Their house was 70 degrees. So theirs puffed up more than mine did here. I did not have the heat on yet. So I had to turn on the heat like partway through. I'm pretty warm blooded, go like this in the winter. And so yeah, but it did puff more and it was a more fluffy experience at their house because they had the heater on. So yeah, PJ's identifying October 2024. We did the bear claws. Yep. And that was a 2-day event. You do one part one day, and then you come back and do the other part the next day, or you could do it for 3 days after that, up to 3 days after that. So you make the stuff, and then actually bake it up to 3 days later. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. We're just eating dinner. Oh, PJ says deer will eat your nasturtiums. Well, don't tell me that, PJ. That's not fun. Okay, maybe I'll wait until I have the food forest area um, fenced off from the elk and deer. Maybe I'll just do it in there. The nasturtiums are wonderful. I mean, I don't blame them. They are delicious. Yeah. My apple tree is still dropping apples, and it is. I This morning when I went up to check on the animals, the apple tree threw an apple at me. Not really. It just dropped and rolled to my feet. I picked it up. I'm like, this is frozen. So I brought it inside, and I haven't eaten it yet. It's over in the kitchen, but it is not squishy or anything. It's probably a little sweeter now. Yeah. Oh, PJ's llamas ate her nasturtiums. Oh, those naughty things. Man, whoever gets your place is going to have a lot of random stuff in their garden, which is pretty cool. You should probably tell them that. Say, hey, there's some. If you see stuff pop up here, it's edible. Hopefully, they left some seeds behind. Um, yeah. No, I know when nasturtiums die back with the cold. I know that from in California. But if they're under canopy, sometimes they're okay with that. I don't know what their tolerance is, but I wouldn't do nasturtiums here until in the spring anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. So we have a air stagnation. What's it called? An alert um, through Wednesday, which typically means you know, a lot of fog and stuff like that. But it also means like the smoke from people's chimneys don't get past that stagnation layer and it goes down. Driving home from my parents last night, and we've had this warning for a while or alert or whatever it is for a while. And I went through the Willamette Valley, and that definitely had fog, and then got closer, and it was just clear sky here, which was pretty cool. So hopefully we don't get that here, but we might. Oh, PJ says a lot of spaghetti squash and pumpkins this year left in the garden. You'll have to be creative on how you write stuff for sale. You could say comes with next year's garden. Next year's garden guaranteed. Oh, yeah. I still haven't cooked that spaghetti squash we talked about a long time ago. I need to do that. I need to do that. Um, so talking about the Cook With Me live that we do, this last time we did pumpkin soup and pumpkin pie, and I actually used a candy roaster, which is it's an heirloom variety of winter squash, and it's like that big around, and it kind of looks like a banana, but it's like that big. And so that actually turned out really well. My parents really liked the pie that came out of that because it was pumpkin pie. That's okay. And what I'm learning is that if you make the puree, you could use it a lot of different ways. I guess I already knew that, but I was thinking about that later, and I'm like, pumpkin curry, that'd be really good. It has a smooth texture. You could do chunks, but I kind of think the chunks go more with a tomato sauce or something. But yeah, now's the season for winter squash. Hopefully, you guys planted winter squash. If not, they're going to be at the stores a little bit longer. Um, most places, not around here, but most big stores will have things kind of into December a little bit, and pretty much just pie pumpkins towards the end, towards Christmas. But for people who do pumpkin pies, but you can make pumpkin pie out of a lot of different winter squashes, and I've done that, so it's good. Yeah, yeah. TJ says, "Oh, I still have a lot of pumpkin to use up." Yep, yep. But I think that's a really good way to use it. Um, the the winter squash I used for the pumpkin pie and the pumpkin soup was actually over a year old, and it was fine. It was delicious. The seeds were great. The chickens loved most of the seeds. I did keep some of the seeds behind. Um, now it came from the Heirloom Expo, so it likely is going to be like hybrid seeds because they grow that for exposition. I'm not saying that right, but anyway, so uh, who knows what will actually come of it, but it might be worth planting. Oh, Howie says, I have winter squash growing through the trees every year. Awesome. I'm guessing not the large ones. No Jardels or any of those sorts. What kinds of winter squash do you grow through the trees? And are we talking little trees or are we talking like mature forest trees? Because that sounds really cool. And how do you get them? Do they drop down, or do you have to cut them down? Or do you have little hammocks? Berta says, my grandson and daughter enjoyed the pecan pie, even though I forgot to add the chocolate. Chocolate? Wait, that's actually a pie I've never made, and I have a recipe for. My neighbor and I down in Gilroy, we clipped out the same thing out of the same the same recipe out of the same thing. Um, it has chocolate in it, or is this a chocolate pecan pie, like specifically? I need to know. All right. So I'm gonna put this out there again. If you are a member or want to be a member, you want to be a member, come be a member. But if you want to be a member, um, you can join. But if you already are a member, we're looking at scheduling. I'm looking at my calendar. That's what I'm looking at. We're looking at scheduling something in December on a Sunday. What is that? Oh, and I kind of want it to be early enough that we can mail things. That makes sense. Um, can marshmallows be a part of a gift? Um, next weekend's probably too close to announce, huh? Yeah. How about the 15th? We'll do it on the 15th. Those that are members, um, let me know right now if the 15th doesn't work. I will do 15th at 11 in the morning Pacific time. Yeah, because that gives. Well, you have to get to the post office on that Monday, get things out, make them New Year's gifts. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, we'll do the what did I say 15th? Yeah, 15th. All right, we'll do the 15th. You're good? Okay. Cool, cool. And I don't know where Erica is. We haven't seen her in a while. And I don't know where Eric is. And I think Aaron snoozed off. Maybe not. All right. And Verna's saying, I usually make chocolate pecan pie. You just add a third cup of cocoa to the mixture. Okay, cool. Good night, Food Forest Permaculture Howie. Good night. Yeah. No, pie. I used to make pie all the time, and I love desserts in general. But then I end up eating them, and that's where the problem is. Uh, but I've made all sorts of different pies, and pecan pie is not one of them that I've made. Um, I wonder if there's a pecan pie recipe that doesn't have like corn syrup as the main ingredient. I don't know. Maybe Vernon knows. Oh my goodness. Adam says, gotta run. Great live. 2 a.m. wake up comes early for work. My goodness, that is early. Hopefully it's a fun work. Thank you for coming, and have a good sleep and a good day at work. And we do this every Monday. So stop by every Monday and chat. Yeah. You can replace corn syrup with honey. Doesn't it just taste like honey then? Like, because there's an immense amount of corn syrup. To my recollection, when I read the recipe, because I know you can make substitutions, not quite one for one, but you can make some substitutions for pumpkin pie, and it changes the density, and it does have a little bit of a honey flavor. Yeah, yeah. So it's just a question I have because corn syrup, like I have some corn syrup, and I honestly haven't used it in a very long time, but the recipes I use it for, like that's kind of the only thing I've ever seen it used for. Yeah. Okay, Vernon says 1 cup corn syrup, 1 cup sugar. That equals? You can use regular sugar in the place of corn syrup? I thought corn syrup had a different chemistry. Anyway. Oh, you're giving the recipe. Got it. Got it. All right. Verna, did you find a good source of eggs? She used to have quail, and now she doesn't, and that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, I figured out his recipe. Um, yeah, hopefully you figured out a good source of eggs. One of my ladies laid. I didn't take a picture of it, but the people who watched them for me, I said to go ahead and take the eggs, and they didn't take them. But there was one egg, and it was like that big, and it was oblong, and like a little bit delicate shell. And I'm like, okay, I think maybe this is a new layer of the season, and I'm guessing based on behavior and where Smilo was this morning, I'm guessing Smilo is the one that laid that. When chickens are new to laying or they're new to laying in a season, they can have some funky eggs, just like quail can. When they start laying, they can have some soft shell eggs, no shell eggs, really big eggs. They don't. No, quail don't have that big eggs. I've had one that was like that big though. Um, ouch, right? Yeah. Oh, you gotta pay the price at the grocery store. Yep, yep. And they are different tasting from the grocery store, which is it just is really interesting to me how different they can be because they can be a lot. They can be very different. Um, yeah. So other things I'm planning on doing with the oh, good night, PJ. PJ also has early rise. Yeah. So Verna says can't buy the cheap ones; they make me sick. Yep. I mean, I've not been sick by one from one, but they definitely once you raise your own birds for eggs, they taste so much different than the store bought ones. Um, so much different. It's amazing. It's amazing what the difference is, and especially if they've been eating lots of greens and good things in addition to their regular, crumble. Um, it's amazing what they can taste like, and I'm sure the nutrition is way different. I mean, I don't know. There's probably studies out there, but I don't directly know of any because I haven't looked. But yeah, there's got to be some studies out there about nutrition of homegrown chicken eggs where the chickens get their crumble, so they have somewhat they have the right minerals and stuff, but then also they have all the fun things from the garden and all that, or free range and all that. So yeah, yeah. So well, it looks like we're slowing down. Are we gonna have an early night? Which is fine. It's fine with me if we do that. All right. Verna says greens, yarrow, and sweet potato leaves is what I used a lot in winter for the quail. Yeah. Yeah, and sweet potato leaves you can eat as well. Yeah. So tomorrow's video is about how to tell if your rabbit is pregnant. Now, I recorded that a while ago, and I wanted some spacing between all the rabbit videos because I was making too many rabbit videos and not too many, but not enough other things. So I wanted to mix it in. My two rabbits that are pregnant or should be pregnant, they get their nest box later this week. I was supposed to breed penne and risotto today, but I didn't see the calendar and I had other things between work and now. And it's not happening after work. So I'll do that I'll do that tomorrow after work. I'm not gonna do it before, it's gonna be cold. I'll do that tomorrow after work, and is to breed them. But then Thursday is when the nest boxes go in on day 27. And then Sunday is when ravioli and rigatoni are due. So that's day 30. So it's going to be Sunday or Monday probably when they have babies next week. So that's my guesstimate. And then I'll do another video when I put the nest box in, but I want to make sure I have some other things, not just rabbits. So yeah. All right. How many kits do you have? I don't have any kits. Nobody's had babies yet. I have 4 does and 1 buck, and 2 of the does are pregnant. 2 of them will be bred tomorrow. And they typically have, like, in general, the ones that the rabbits that I've had, that I've bred, they have had between 6 and 9. Last litter of rigatonis was 11. So I don't know. I don't know what they're having now, but we will find out next week, or maybe the end of this week. I would believe that, Verna. Lucy loves fish of any type. Lucy's a dog. She I'm sure loves any meat of any type. Probably. Yeah. Yes, Verna. You'll want to count, of course. Of course. Of course. Yeah. So baby bunny season is going to be upon us, and we will watch them grow and all of that. So I think I told you guys already that Penne is on. I don't know what I should say. She is in review. Let's just say that Penne is in review. If her attitude towards me doesn't change, then we might have a new rabbit somewhere else. She is one that she's one of the 2 that I kept because their mom died, and I needed to replace the breeders because she, died. She had a stroke. I was there with her when it happened, and she happened to have 2 babies. So the 2 black does that I have are her babies, Tortellini's babies, and they actually have they were, I think, 7 weeks old when I made the decision that poof, they're going to be breeders. And you guys will see the difference in behavior between ravioli and rigatoni, which are the ones that they're white. They look like Californian, but all the does are a cross between a Californian and a black New Zealand. They just are different colors. But with those 2, I knew I was going to keep them, so I made the effort every single day to do that. Go in, handle them. Good night, Tim. Have a wonderful night, and I hope your bananas survive. Let us know if they do or don't, or what happens. And hopefully they taste good. So I don't have the same relationship with these older ones, or the ones that were older when I started handling them, as I do with other ones, and you guys will see that is evident. But Penne was born with half of a back foot. You guys might notice that in videos, and that is just a birth defect. She was the last litter of Tortellini, and she did fine. You wouldn't even know it hardly. She doesn't use it sometimes she does, but she does fine. She's always been that way. So animals that are restricted like that from birth, they usually end up doing fine. But she did have some attitude. Um, she's not mean, but she did lunge at me like a month ago or so, and she doesn't come up and she's not like super friendly. Um, Risotto, which is again the two that I kept. Risotto, she very rarely comes up to me, but she's okay if I go to her. She'll let me pet her and stuff like that. She's not as comfortable as the other ladies, but she lets me. So that is, yeah, Penne's in review. Yeah, Verna, that was my way of saying that. So, yeah. But we'll see how they do with the breeding and go from there. So, um, yeah. Well, chat has gone down quite a bit, and I'm wondering if we might just have a short night. I, you guys can hear that I'm I'm stuffed up. But I'm getting better. I think it was environmental. I don't think it's like contagious at all. It's because I went to my parents and they had the heater on and it was dry. Something I used to get every single winter when the heater went on. But yeah. Yeah, Verna. Yep, I do remember. I think yours was a little bit more aggressive though, if I remember. Mine, she's not. I think she's just scared, and I've spent time with her, and she's not changing. And I could spend more time with her and probably get that um, to turn a little bit, but it's harder when they're that old. Um, oh, yours was a screamer. Yeah, she didn't do that. She didn't do that. She's a good mom, so that's kind of what's saving her right now. Um, if I knew a different rabbit breeder in the area that had like a different variety, that would be cool to breed. Then that would be maybe a pusher. But at this point, I don't need more than 4 does. I probably don't need 4 does. But yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to say good night unless someone wants to jump in and say something, ask a question, and we will go ahead and do that. Do some more questioning tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I mean, you can comment on things tomorrow. Next Monday, 6 p.m. Uh, Pacific time. And just in case the person who commented is on here, I am going to bring back this leg. This is the over freezer table leg. And we did a dowel, wood glued these together, put on a caster, but then over time, this joint did get weak. We were going to put something at this joint to connect 2 legs together. Didn't end up doing that. So it was weak. It was starting to wobble. And so we put on this piece of metal, and it has been strong ever since. So, yes, it does work. I would put this on. And as you can see, you can't even see it from the front. So, it's good. Cheap way to do that if you have a cheap table. Oh, yeah, Verna. Yeah. All right. Well, I am going to end there. And thank you guys all for coming. And like I said, tomorrow's video is about knowing whether or not your rabbit is pregnant. And then we're going to have babies as soon as this weekend, probably. And as late as, Monday or Tuesday. But hopefully they'll all do good. Hopefully the mamas will do good. And then again, I'm going to be breeding risotto and penne with Percy tomorrow after work. So there we go. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful evening. And we will see you guys next Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.